In Godzilla, King of the Monsters, 2019, there is a haunting, almost subliminal image that most viewers miss, but that changes everything if you know what to look for. When Monarch's deep-sea craft explores Godzilla's undersea temple, amid the crumbled arches and rivers of molten magma lies a skeleton unlike any other. It's massive, curled inward, covered in spiked ridges, its jaw frozen open mid-roar. For a few seconds, the camera lingers, and any true kaiju fan recognizes it instantly. The unmistakable shape of Anguirus, Godzilla's oldest ally and one of the first monsters ever to share the screen with him. This moment is more than a casual Easter egg. It is the first trace of a forgotten chapter in the MonsterVerse, a silent whisper of an ancient guardian whose story may predate Godzilla himself. For those unfamiliar, Anguirus holds a special place in Toho's mythology. He made his first appearance in Godzilla Raids again in 1955, fighting Godzilla to near mutual destruction before later becoming one of his most loyal companions. Over decades of Toho films, Anguirus earned a reputation as the underdog kaiju. Not the largest, not the most powerful, but fiercely brave, endlessly resilient, and unflinchingly loyal. He was the Earth's bulldog, armored in spikes, always charging headfirst into battle against stronger foes like King Ghidorah or Gigan. In fan culture, he became a symbol of raw courage, the kind of monster who bleeds for the world even when no one remembers his name. That is why seeing his skeleton beneath the ocean floor feels so profound, because it implies that in this continuity, he existed once, and he died for something greater. After watching every MonsterVerse film, show, animated series, and reading every tie-in comic and lore file I could find, I've come to believe that the cameo was not a simple tribute but a deliberate seed. The MonsterVerse has been quietly building a cosmology, one of elemental titans, ancient wars, and primal balances between fire and ice, earth and storm. And within that mythology, Anguirus was not just another titan. He was the shield of the earth, the guardian who once stood between the core of the planet and extinction. His story, when pieced together from clues across media, forms a breathtaking and tragic myth, one that begins not on the surface, but in the hollow earth itself. Long before human history, the hollow earth was the cradle of the titans, a vast bioluminescent world of magma rivers, thunder caverns, and frozen poles that met in impossible balance. Each region was ruled by a prime titan embodying an elemental force: fire, storm, frost, life, and stone. Godzilla's ancestors ruled the seas of flame. Mothra's kin kept the skies in motion. But in the deepest crustal belts, where molten rock met solid mantle, Anguirus ruled. His spiked carapace formed of living mineral, his heartbeat synchronized with the Earth's seismic rhythm. He was the planet's living equilibrium, a titan not born to conquer but to protect. To the Iwi, his legend survived in fragments carved into obsidian tablets, calling him the one who holds the world together. Yet even balance must one day face opposition. From the polar corridors of the hollow earth came a dynasty of frost-born monsters, led by two siblings, Shimo and her brother. Shimo, as later mythology suggests, was the reluctant harbinger of cold, a being of immense power who maintained the cycle of ice ages. But her brother was different. Colder, crueler, more ambitious. Where Shimo respected the balance of flame and frost, he saw only dominion. He wanted to extend the reign of cold across all elements, to freeze the molten veins, to shatter the world's thermal heart, to rule the planet in stillness. When his armies of crystalline frost beasts marched into the southern caverns, they began turning magma lakes into glass, suffocating the planet's core energy. It was then that Anguirus rose from the mantle itself to defend the world's heartbeat. What followed was a cataclysmic war, the kind of battle that reshapes planets. As the Frost Legion advanced, Anguirus countered with seismic fury. The collisions of his armor against their icy hide generated shockwaves felt across the crust. Volcanic mountains collapsed inward. Frozen ridges cracked open to reveal glowing fissures. Shimo herself, torn between kinship and conscience, eventually joined Anguirus to stop her brother's rampage. Together, the Titan of Earth and the Queen of Ice fought beside the fiery progenitors of Godzilla's kind. The final confrontation took place near what would eons later become the Tiamat Trench, a corridor linking Hollow Earth to the Pacific floor. In that last stand, Anguirus held back the frost tide while Shimo sealed the breach with molten walls. The pressure, heat, and energy were unimaginable. To close the rift, Anguirus hurled himself into it, using his own body as a living barrier. The resulting explosion fused him with the magma, preserving his shape but extinguishing his life. The Earth survived, but the shield was gone. Over millions of years, his fossilized body became part of the undersea crust, a permanent scar marking the place where the hollow Earth once almost collapsed. When Godzilla claimed his temple near the same energy node, he unknowingly chose the very tomb of his predecessor, perhaps even drawn there instinctively by the energy that Anguirus left behind. The Iwi remembered this sacrifice as prophecy. On Skull Island, their carvings tell of a creature with a back of mountains and a heart of fire, who sleeps beneath the king's throne. Their prophecy reads, "When the frost returns and the king's fire dims, the shield shall rise once more." The text suggests that the energy contained within those bones is not dead, only dormant, waiting for the right moment of imbalance to awaken again. Monarch's files in viral marketing material hinted at strange thermal pulses near Godzilla's lair, consistent with this theory. The readings show low-frequency tremors that repeat at rhythmic intervals, a pattern that matches historical data linked to Titan biosignatures. Some researchers inside the organization theorized that the bones could be slowly reabsorbing geothermal energy from the hollow Earth, regenerating over centuries. If true, Anguirus is not merely a relic but an unhatched guardian, preserved in the same way some volcanic crystals slowly reform in cycles. He may yet rise, not as a resurrected corpse but as a reconstituted being of magma and stone, the Earth's immune system reawakening to confront the next great freeze. Should the events of the next MonsterVerse chapters explore Shimo's lineage, it's possible her brother, or a descendant, will return from the polar tunnels, spreading a new winter through the hollow Earth's veins. If that happens, the energy surge could trigger the latent pulse within Anguirus's remains, igniting his rebirth. Imagine the moment, the crust trembling, magma veins glowing red, the camera cutting to that same skeletal form from KOTM. Only now, the bones begin to crack, steam rising from the fissures, a red light flickering from within. A single tremor runs through the ocean floor, followed by a low, echoing roar that hasn't been heard in 100 millennia. The shield of Earth returns. Such a resurrection would change the MonsterVerse forever. Anguirus would not rise to challenge Godzilla but to stand beside him. The ancient bond between fire and stone rekindled to defend the planet from encroaching frost. Together with Shimo, now redeemed through memory of her fallen ally, they would form an elemental triad: ice, fire, and earth. Their alliance would not just be a battle spectacle but a cosmic balancing act, the planet reasserting its equilibrium through living gods. In this vision, the MonsterVerse stops being a story of monsters and becomes a saga of planetary consciousness. Each Titan is not a creature but a force, and Anguirus is its heart. Buried, broken, but unforgotten. So when you revisit Godzilla, king of the monsters, and see that brief shot of a spiked skeleton beneath the sea, remember that you are not looking at a cameo. You are witnessing the fossilized soul of the world's first hero, a Titan who held back the end of all things. His sacrifice made life possible. His memory fuels the balance of the planet. And someday, when frost covers the equator and the oceans freeze in silence, the magma will stir once more. The ground will crack, the shield will rise, and Anguirus will roar again, not in vengeance, but in duty. For he is the Earth's guardian, the eternal protector of its heart, and his story is far from over.